If you're looking to learn the art of selling players, go no further than the south coast of England to Southampton. The Saints have a knack of trading their star players throughout the years, mostly to Liverpool, possessing the ethos of a traditional selling club and gaining extreme profits in the process. So Sir What If's back in the Premier League again and has gotten the band back together at St Mary's to see what would happen if Southampton never sold their star players. Could the Saints push further up the Premier League table, win a few domestic cups, or even qualify for Europe? Let's go ahead and find out. It was yet another highly requested team from you guys down in the comments below, so here we are today delivering yet another What If career mode experiment. But before we get into Sir What If Southampton team, make sure to slap a like on the video down below, hit subscribe with notifications on, as we'll be having plenty of FIFA 20 career mode content coming to the channel. And let me know down in the comments below what team we should be doing this experiment with next, whether it's in FIFA 19 or FIFA 20 career mode, and also who is your favorite Southampton player or players in this squad. Let me know down below. And yeah, let's just dive straight into the side. It's a nice little team we've built here in Southampton, and as you guys know, you know how it works by now. We're going to go through the team position by position. It's filled with ex-players, players that they've sold, players that had a little loan spell here, came back, had a few appearances for Southampton. There's a lot of players that qualify for this team that fit into the category. As you can see there in the top left-hand corner, we've got 29 players in total, 8 attackers, 8 defenders, 10 midfielders, and 3 goalkeepers on our hands. So first cab off the rank is Paulo Gazzaniga, the now 26-year-old Argentine goalkeeper. He's going to be our starter in this side because literally Southampton don't really have too many great goalkeepers that they've sold or had in the past. And then his backups are going to be Angus Gunn and Alex McCarthy. Those are the only 2 players that are currently at the club right now. We're going to focus on the 26-year-old as he is now playing for Tottenham Hotspur. He's a backup goalkeeper for them. Obviously, Hugo Lloris is the starter. We're going to skip past those 2 goalkeepers. They don't really matter as we focus our attention towards Nathaniel Klein, the now 27-year-old, I believe, who's at Bournemouth. One of those players who, there's a few in here, they've been sold to Liverpool. Nathaniel Klein had a great season at Southampton a few years ago. And we're going to move on to the defense. We've got probably the best defensive partnership here. We have Toby Alderweireld, the 29-year-old centre-back, 87 overall, and he's another player who's now moved on to Spurs in real life. He's become a great Premier League defender and has been linked to a move away from Tottenham, but technically Alderweireld was on loan at Southampton from Atletico Madrid. They didn't technically sell him, but he's an ex-Southampton player at the end of the day. We're just going to move on to a player that they did end up selling. It's another player they sold to Liverpool, and this is where I'm talking about the defensive partnership coming into play here. It's going to be Toby Alderweireld and Virgil van Dijk. Just won the UEFA Best Player Award, 26 years of age. At the time, he was the most expensive defender in the world. Now, Harry Maguire's taken over him. The now 89 rated Virgil van Dijk will be returning to Southampton to captain the side with Toby Alderweireld at the back. Those are our 2 main centre-backs. We'll move on to another Dutch player. I believe this guy is out on loan for now, but we've included him just for a bit of squad depth. Wesley Hoet, 24 years of age, on loan at Celta Vigo in real life. We'll move on to Jose Font now, an ex-Southampton player who's moved on to China. Now he's in Portugal again. They're now 34-year-old, so he might retire throughout the simulation, but we've kept him in here yet again just for squad depth. So now we move on to the last centre-back, the self-proclaimed best defender in the world, the Croatian World Cup finalist, Dejan Lovren, the now 28-year-old, was a Southampton player, broke out of Southampton, moved from Lyon, and then was sold, you guessed it, to Liverpool again, and hasn't really been a starter for them, getting game time here and there. He's just going to be a solid player to have. As we move on to the first English talent in this side, he was one of the most expensive defenders, one of the most expensive teenagers, in the Premier League. He went on to move, no, not to Liverpool. He moved to Manchester United. It is Luke Shaw, 22 years of age. Very, very injury prone, which is unfortunate. Hasn't really gotten to the heights that everyone expected him to. Still, he's only 22 years of age, so he's got time to redeem himself. He was a very promising figure that burst onto the scene at Southampton. Manchester United capitalised. He might make a few appearances in this side, depending on what formation we play, but he's made his way back to St Mary's alongside Matt Targett, who was sold to Aston Villa this season, was on loan at Fulham last season, and we've just included him in here for squad depth. Not the best rated player, 71 overall. We'll move on to another player who went from Southampton to Spurs. It is going to be the Kenyan Victor Wanyama. We're moving on into the midfield and the CDM slash centre mid, now 27 years of age. Playing for Tottenham Hotspur, Champions League finalist, and is 79 overall. A pretty decent player to have in the midfield. Move on to a player that is kind of a defender, kind of a midfielder. It's another player from that generation of Luke Shaw and those type of English talents. Callum Chambers, another player who hasn't really developed as quickly as people would have thought, but now at 23 years of age, he moved on to Arsenal. Played for Fulham, now back at Arsenal, but yeah, he's going to be in the squad, and he provides a bit of great versatility. Still only 23 years of age, 75 overall, so he can provide something alongside Morgan Schneider Schneiderlin. The French 28-year-old, another CDM, had a brilliant stint at Southampton, developed up from the Championship to the Premier League. Another player that went on to move to Manchester United. He's now at Everton. Not really impressing all too much at Old Trafford, but he's back at St Mary's Stadium, and I'm sure he can offer us something here in the south coast of England. We move on to the first right midfielder of the side. It is going to be Theo Walcott, a player that came out of the Southampton Youth Academy, burst onto the scene, was one of the golden boys of English football. Back in the day that Theo Walcott was a wonder kid, got his start at Southampton, obviously made a big move to Arsenal, called up to the England squad at such a young age. But yeah, he's going to be making his return. He's now 29 at Everton, of course. And then it's Adam Lallana, one of my favourite players from that Southampton side that came up into the Premier League and just shocked everyone. But the now 30-year-old broke out of Southampton, was part of that crop of players that moved on from the club. And he, of course, moved on to the European champions Liverpool. Another player that moved on to the Merseyside club. A lot of injuries and just better players keeping him out of the squad has hampered his game time. So I'm hoping he can make an impact for Sir What If's team here. We have Jack Cork, another Englishman, another 29-year-old. This squad in general is just pretty old, but we have Jack Cork, who's now at Burnley, was a solid little player for Southampton, so he can provide some decent squad depth. But we move on to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, yet another Englishman, about 4 Englishmen in a row right now, and he is famously yet another player who moved on to Liverpool. How is that? Probably about 6 Southampton players now. We haven't even got through the whole squad that have moved on to Liverpool, now 24 years of age. Picked up a really big injury in real life, so he hasn't played all too much in the last 10 months or so. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain now 80 overall, and I'm sure can provide something good in career mode as well. This player is a bit of a throwback. A lot of old school FIFA players will remember this guy. A lot of retro FIFA fans will have fond memories of Elgerio Elia. The now 31-year-old Dutch winger is out in Turkey playing his football. Was just a famous Ultimate Team card, but we'll move on down to a famous wonder kid from years gone by. It is Gaston Ramirez. FIFA 12, FIFA 13 was prime time of this guy's career. In terms of career mode, he had like 90 potential and was the go-to camp to pick up. Now 27 years of age, playing for Sampdoria in Serie A, and as you can tell, hasn't really fulfilled his potential at 27 years of age. But the playmaker did have a stint at Southampton, moved on to Hull, moved on to Sampdoria, but it's probably going to be our starting attacking midfielder here, Dusan Tadic, the Serbian who had a brilliant season at Ajax, a Champions League semi-finalist, has been a star for the Ajax team, has blossomed after he departed Southampton, and did pretty well at Southampton too. Don't really know why they let him go, but now the 29-year-old is 84 rated, is a solid squad player, is going to be a solid player for this team, no doubt, as we'll move on to a player that not too many people know about, played for Southampton or was at Southampton for a certain period of time. It is going to be the Spaniard Iago Falque. The now 28-year-old right winger was on loan at Southampton, didn't really get much game time, didn't score any goals, didn't do much, but he was on the books, he was on loan there, so we're going to include him in this squad, and it's just a player that I don't think too many people remember playing for the Saints, and we brought him back. Now this one's a big one. This one is a massive one. One of the notorious players that have come out of Southampton. One of the best ex-Southampton players in this squad on the list is going to be Gareth Bale. The now 28-year-old Welsh winger has gone on to achieve greatness after departing Southampton, went on to Spurs, went on to be one of the most expensive players of all time at Real Madrid, still killing it at Real Madrid despite Zinedine Zidane absolutely hating this guy. But with that 86 overall, he's going to be a marquee attacker in this squad. Started off as a left back here at Southampton, but obviously has gone on to be an attacker, but he is a major player in this squad, and I'm expecting him to carry the side throughout the Premier League as he makes his return, as well as the Italian up front, the now 26-year-old Manolo Gabbiadini. I believe he's back at Sampdoria now, 77 overall. He's just going to be a rotational starting striker who did quite well at Southampton to begin with, kind of fell off towards the end, and the Saints ended up selling him. Also, another player who had a stint at Southampton on loan is going to be Mikel Antonio, the English striker who's now 28. Yet another kind of decent Southampton player. We've just included him for a bit of squad depth, as well as another Italian striker, 32 years of age now. It's Graziano Pelle. Another striker who had a decent stint at Southampton, moved on to the Chinese Super League, and he's living life, living it up in China, being paid the big bucks. Another decent little striker we've got in here, Jay Rodriguez, 28 years of age, was sold on to West Brom and is now at West Brom in the Championship. Don't know if he'll do all too much for us, but it's another major player in here, and you could argue he's a bit better than Gareth Bale in terms of overall anyway. But the now 26-year-old Champions League winner, scored the fastest hat-trick in Premier League history, it is going to be Sadio Mane. The Senegalese attacker is yet another player who's been sold to Liverpool. I've lost count how many players have been sold to Liverpool from the Southampton side. Someone in the comments down below let me know. But it is well out of order. Southampton is pretty much Liverpool's youth academy right now if we take a look at history. But Sadio Mane is going to be a big player for us in this squad. We all know how good he is for Liverpool right now. And then there's another player who a few people don't really know played for Southampton. Juanmi's now at Real Betis in La Liga. Going to be a nice little backup rotational winger. 25 years of age, 77 overall. But that is going to be the squad. You guys wanted it, and here we are. That is the squad. If Southampton never sold their ex-players in general, there are a lot of people in this squad. It's a decent little side. They've gotten a few marquee players, and this is how they will be lining up for this career mode experiment. That is the formation we're going for. It's a 3-4-1-2, and I'll have a picture comparing Southampton's current side on the right in comparison to their what-if squad on the left. You can take a look. You can see the difference if they never sold their players. And you could definitely see the improvement in the squad if they never sold their star players. So we've crunched the numbers yet again. We've added up all their career mode base valuations in the game. And the entire squad combined value all amounts to £402.2 million. So another hefty figure, another big squad we've created here. We've combined a lot of talents in this side. I'm not too sure what to expect from them. We need the senior players. We need the players with the most quality in the side to carry the team throughout the season. We're going to simulate to the end of season 1, see how they do in this first season, if they can even qualify for Europe, if they can win anything, that'll be great. So what if, can he pull off his magic yet again here in Southampton? We're going to have to find out. We'll see you at the end of their first season. So this is what the Premier League table looks like one season into Sir What If's journey here in Southampton, and take a look at that. They've made the top 8. You can see Chelsea winning the league, Spurs, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Manchester City in at that top 5 position. Everton and Crystal Palace are above us. We didn't have the quality, we didn't have the performances needed to crack into that top 5 where we were aiming for Europa League pretty much. We only missed out by a few points, 1 win away basically. And as you can see, look who's below us. The team that has taken all of our, literally most of our players, Liverpool. And you can see the effects of not having Sadio Mane, Virgil van Dijk at the back. Players like that are going to affect teams like a Liverpool the most, because that's where they got most of their players from, and we've technically finished above them with the same points tally though. We've technically beaten them in the league, but 8th position is not too bad to start off in the first season. We're going to move on to the FA Cup and see how the boys did in some other competitions, and as you can see there, Manchester United taking out Chelsea in the final. We'll move on and take a look at where they got knocked out. We're going to take a look, and Wolves defeated them on penalties 5-4 after a 2-2 draw in a round 4 replay. So unlucky there from the lads. Could have gone a bit further, but we'll move on to the Carabao Cup, and that is where Spurs defeated Wolves 2-0. We'll take a look and see where the lads got eliminated, and it's from Carlisle United. 5-4 on penalties after it was 1-1. Bit disappointing there. It's another round 4 exit, and it's not much success happening in the cup competitions. There's no Champions League or Europa League yet for the lads, but we'll see if we can make those competitions in the next few seasons. So What If's manager rating is at a 59, which is a bit of a shock, but we'll move on to the player performances. We'll move on to our best players, and we can see who really carried this squad in the Premier League, and it looks like it was a bit spread out. We got Gareth Bale on 12 goals and 2 assists in 28 appearances. Dusan Tadic, the Serbian, now 30 years of age, 11 goals and 8 assists for him. Jay Rodriguez, a player who I didn't really expect to have too much of an impact, got 6 goals and 1 assist. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain with 5 goals and 6. Sadio Mane, a player who I expected to have a bit more impact on the side, only got 4 goals and 2 assists. Graziano Pelle and Mikel Antonio got 4 goals each. Lallana with 4 goals and 2 assists. Manolo Gabbiadini getting 3. And then Dejan Lovren, the best defender in the world, only getting 5 clean sheets there. Wanyama Schneiderlin doing well. Yeah, a lot of players got a lot of game time. Not too many people missed out besides Luke Shaw. He probably got a few injuries. Iago Falque not being really fancied in the starting 11. We'll move on down the table. And as you can see there, Virgil van Dijk picked up a big injury. Yeah, he picked up a 3-month injury there, so a lot of game time missed for him. That could have affected our performances. Our big Dutch defender not having much of an impact in the second half of the season, but we have pretty much all 3 goalkeepers sharing the goalkeeping position there. That is how the boys look in season 1. Tadic the playmaker, Bale the goal scorer. So it's a good starting point. It's a good debut season. Let's see how they can improve and maybe even qualify for Europe in season 2. Injuries and suspensions aside, this squad has the potential to qualify qualify for the Champions League. I think it's the goalkeeping position letting them down right here, but let's hope for some better results in Season 2. So we've arrived at Season 2, and just for a bit of context, we changed up the formation from a 3 at the back to a 4-5-1, kind of like a little Christmas tree formation, as you can see there. Might have played a bit of a difference on the team's results this season, and as you can see, as we take a look at the Premier League table, it is the exact same position that the ex-Southampton boys finished in Season 1. The side remains stagnant in the Premier League. There's not really any improvement. It's a similar points tally to last year. Liverpool really picked up and ended up in the top 4. Spurs take out the title. Manchester United and Manchester City in the top 4. And then it's Chelsea and Everton just above us with 3 points ahead. We are so close but so far to cracking European competitions there. Back-to-back 8th place positionings in the Premier League. We'll take a look at the FA Cup. And it's Newcastle and Crystal Palace in the final. You're kidding me. And we got knocked out in round 3 to Liverpool 2-0. And the Liverpudlians ended up eliminating us in round 3. So now we're on to the Carabao Cup. Let's see if the boys got in the final. No, it's Chelsea defeating Liverpool 2-0. And it looks like we got knocked out by Newcastle United 5-4 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. They always get knocked out on penalties in these cup competitions. Another kind of early elimination. Wanted to go a bit further in those competitions, but we'll take a look and see who our best players were this season. It looks like Dusan Tadic, season after season, proves why he can still do it in the Premier League there with 11 goals and 6 assists. Our top goal scorer, and it looks like is our top assist man. So pretty much our MVP in Season 2 with 42 appearances. In 14 appearances, Gaston Ramirez got himself 6 goals and 1 assist. Manuel Gabbiadini still with 6. And a player who I've expected a bit more from, Sadio Mane, with 6 goals and 5 assists in there. Mikel Antonio still picking up 4 goals. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain bagging 3. Elia bagging 3 goals and 2 assists. Gareth Bale, who's dropped off a bit, couldn't repeat the success he had in Season 1. Gone down an overall 2, and it's 3 goals and 3 assists for him. As we scroll down, Virgil van Dijk only with 30 appearances there, so we might have picked up another injury. Move on, Toby Alderweireld was our main defender there with 12 clean sheets. It looks like Gazaniga has taken the majority of the goalkeeping game time, which is good to see. Luke Shaw getting a nice amount of game time. And then we have a few squad rotational players. Not too many players offering much, but the dream of European football still looms large over Southampton. Let's see if the Saints can do it, get their act together and qualify for European competition, either through the Premier League or by winning a domestic cup competition. It does not really matter, but so what if's got 1 season left to work his magic with this side. Let's see what happens with Southampton in Season 3. So the end of Season 3 has arrived, and it's definitely gone downhill from here. A very big decline from the top half finish of 2 seasons gone by. From 8th, we've slumped down to 13th, and this Southampton side haven't really improved. They've gotten worse. 13 points away from the relegation zone, but still, we expected a bit better from the Southampton lads. But we'll move on to the FA Cup and see if the boys got any domestic cup success, and it looks like the trend continues. No glory for the Saints as of yet. Man City and Chelsea in the final. We'll take a look and see we got knocked out, and it was in round 6 to quarterfinals to Manchester United 1-0. So by the slimmest of margins, they were eliminated, and they could have been in a semi-final at Wembley, so who knows what could have happened there. But we'll move on to the other cup competition in England in the Carabao Cup, and it's Spurs defeating Burnley 3-1 in the final there. We'll also take a look and see where they got knocked out, and it looks like it's quite early. 4-3 on penalties to Chelsea, yet again being eliminated on penalties, this time in round 4 to the team we did the last What If video on, Chelsea. And of course that means no European football at St Mary's. The Champions League and the Europa League go begging, and we don't get any taste of European glory there. Arsenal and Chelsea in the Europa League final like it was last season. But we'll take a look one more time at the squad. Here were our top performers this season, if there were any. I'm not expecting many, but Sadio Mane, the Senegalese winger, bagging 18 goals and 9 assists. That's his best season. However, it came at the wrong time. It's technically the Saints' worst season in terms of team performance, but Sadio Mane's best individual season there, being our top goal scorer and most likely our top assister. We also have Gareth Bale with 9 goals and 9 assists. Dusan Tadic with 14 goal contributions there with 7 and 7. Gabbiadini still bagging them in at 6 goals for him. Virgil van Dijk getting 5 goals from centre-back, as well as Jay Rodriguez getting 5 goals and 2 assists. Iago Falque kind of declined this season. He's hit the 30s now. 4 goals and 1 assist for him. Juan Mi getting 4 goals. As we scroll down, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain with 2 goals and 4 assists. We have Dejan Lovren and Toby Alderweireld both with 1 goal. Then we have Wanyama getting a bit of game time in there. We move further down. These are kind of the players that are kind of declining. We have Luke Shaw at that 85 overall. Still decent from him. Gaston Ramirez still getting some game time. Probably one of the most least successful what if videos. Sir What If could not work his magic here at Southampton. They still remain without silverware. They still remain without European competition, even with their best players back for them. The captain of the side too could not lead them out to victory. I don't know what it was. There's quality players here, not enough quality in depth. I think that is a side that is going to end off season 3. I think a decent goalkeeper also lacked as well, and unfortunately Sir What If could not deliver glory to the Saints. However, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to slap a like button down below, subscribe as well. We're going to be having some FIFA 20, PES 2020 Master League content coming to the channel. It's going to be an action-packed end to the year, so make sure to hit that notification bell too to stay notified and know when each video goes live on the channel. Follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. Let me know what teams we should do this with next. Should we bring it on into FIFA 20? Let me know down below. I appreciate all the support you guys are showing on this series and all the support you've been showing towards the back end of FIFA 19. I know it was a bit of a dead period. However, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been BCHD. I hope you did enjoy. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the very next video.